Look who's back, ladies and gentlemen.
Guess who's back? All right.
Start this off. We got the our 19th hole sponsor. Even though they didn't sponsor it, we're just gonna say they are Press Pack for High Noon, and it's a co-sponsorship today.
Yeah, Sam Adams. You probably had never heard of them. They're kind of a small brewery.
It's a small little brewery on the West Coast.
Yep. And Oktoberfest. It's December. It's in December right now, but
Decemberfest.
It's Decemberfest. It's October and December, like Christmas and July.
Yeah, I like
it's
that.
It's October and December.
That's perfect.
Well, I mean, it's not. There's no snow yet. It's cold enough. We just checked the ice.
Yeah, we're very close to ice fishing here. This is what I've been looking for. Tangerine.
Ooh.
Except now I opened both sides, so this is dangerous.
How many do they come with? Each one? 3?
3 of each. So you got 3. So the Prez Pack. This is the new one of El Presidente. His favorites. So you got 3 passion fruit, 3 pineapple, 3 pear, and 3 tangerine.
I bet pear's good. Have you
You've never had pear?
No.
Oh yeah, it's good. I had that. It's like the tailgate or the pool pack or something.
Okay. Nice.
But anyways, guys, we are back at it. Now, I think it's been... let's look exactly.
God, I don't know. Probably if people thought we quit.
I bet everybody thought we were dead. Yeah. But we're not. Guess what?
But you know, it's funny. Nobody sent out a search party, so I guess.
So thanks, guys. Yeah. Appreciate that.
Yeah.
So they obviously cared.
Yeah, we were just. You don't know what you have till it's gone. So I bet you're all on the edge of your seat, glad that we're back to talk to you.
I bet everybody's in tears right now. Is my guess.
It's a movie.
This is what movies is made of.
It's what movies are made of.
Here, let's see here.
I like these Wolves. These old school Wolves jerseys.
I wish we'd use those all the
I also
time.
like the New City ones.
I do too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I wish Minnesota was a little bigger.
Yeah.
It's very little.
That is true. But
so our last actual episode we put up was on October 1st.
Jeez.
So like 2 months in one day.
Yeah, that's bad.
And that was that was the Fall Golf Redemption Tour edition.
But it's not for lack of it's not like we've been ignoring this. We have our lives. We got going. We want to do this, but school gets going. For me as a teacher, you've been doing a lot of home improvements. It's been harder to get together.
It's been wild.
And we're without golf now. We kind of got a few. We almost could have golfed if we would have golfed that last when it was open. We couldn't go. What was that? That was a Friday. What was that Friday? What was that Friday? It was like November. It was like 1 week before Thanksgiving, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was the week before Thanksgiving, I think.
So they were Wedgewood was still open then because they
closed. And then they're like, bonus week. And then it's crazy because right now...
I mean, right now, today was 40. I mean, you could have... There's no snow out there.
It's supposed to be... I don't know if you
50, know. I think, next week, isn't it?
Yeah, like 52.
That's going to feel like a summer.
So it's going to be wild. But we're going to talk about and do kind of the same things that we've said before. But the same stuff that kind of public course golf guys do in the wintertime. Ice fish.
Yep.
Watch hoops. Watch Timberwolves. We have so many topics to cover.
And these are the same topics that we often talk about when we're sitting in the golf cart in between shots.
Mm-hmm.
So we're gonna kind of play off of what is that good? Ooh,
wow.
Okay, Mike's approval.
Wow.
Is it big man approved?
Ooh, that's big man certified.
Okay, big man certified. All right. But why don't we expand this podcast over to the wintertime?
Yeah.
And harken back to what we talk about in the cart. So these are going to be cart conversations.
Cart conversations.
We're going to get our own sports takes.
Yep.
And all of us have opinions about sports. Sometimes we've been in our golf carts where we've driven by people and you're like, that's what they're saying about, Kirk Cousins. That's what they're saying about. It's like, ooh. So hopefully ours are more intelligent and come from better research.
Right. And a little more substance behind them.
Yeah, than some of the ones we hear. But everybody and their brother likes to talk about sports. And so who better to hear than Mikey Polis and Peach over here giving our takes on what's happening in the sports world.
And we have a shocking amount in the last 2 months of stuff to cover. Let's run a quick hit highlight point, and then we'll go back. So you got the Timberwolves are tied for the best record in the NBA, first in the West. They've beat.
I thought they are the first. Oh, best record. They're tied with
Boston.
Yep.
Playing right now, we're up 3 at. Oh, we hit a 3 at the buzzer.
No, we had a couple of. We were down.
Before?
Yeah, we were down 59, 58. So we had a couple shots we made. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you got Timberwolves tied for the best record in the NBA.
that's just blows.
We could almost just do a podcast and end everything exclusively just on that because we've been lifelong Timberwolves fans.
Well, this is a where were you moment because when we are old, we'll look back at this podcast and we'll remember the time when the Timberwolves.
We'll remember. So at 5:07 on December 2nd, 2023, the Timberwolves right now are beating Charlotte by 3 at half. Oh, nice lob from.
Yeah. They're starting to figure that out. How about Gobert? I mean, I know we don't want we can jump around like crazy, but
this is a whole podcast. I'm going to tell you right now. We're going to forewarn.
Yeah.
We are going to bounce all over the place, and it's going to go from Vikings to Wild to Gophers to
whatever segues into anything.
It doesn't
honestly.
Matter.
So follow along.
So we appreciate you guys tuning in, and we're going to cover all the hot topics, golf. There's a big hitter in golf right now.
I know, yeah.
And
something in hometown relates to my hometown with golf too.
Yeah.
Let's read 14 points in the first half.
So he's got 14. Rudy's got 12. At Rudy, I think you can, if you end it right now, he's Defensive Player of the Year. He's back to old Rudy.
I was watching on what used to be called Twitter. I watched the game where he was unbelievably great on defense, but there's a lot of stat categories in sports, and pretty much you can the analytics and all that stuff. You can pretty much track everything.
Yeah.
But it's amazing what Rudy can do where he doesn't even get a stat for it. So he affects shots. He gets in the way. People are afraid to go up on. They're out of rhythm. They're in a rhythm, then all of a sudden he appears and they're out of rhythm. So they don't. They miss their shot or they don't even shoot it. His presence affects the game.
Well, that's that possession of the end of the Oklahoma City game.
Yes.
He did not statistically record one stat on that defensive possession. He didn't record a rebound, a block, nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Yet he affected the way, I think they showed and broke it down, in 6 different times he affected the play by either hedging a screen, closing out on Chet, and then it ended up with Chet Holmgren, Minnesota boy, airballing a 15-footer.
Who looks like Abe Lincoln, by the way.
He does big time.
Yeah.
And that beard needs to go.
Honest Abe. Yeah.
Chet boy.
Yeah, get rid of it.
But he ended up 6 times he affected the play without recording one statistic, yet he ended up with 17 and 17 or whatever it was.
Yep. And so he's making a presence on defense, which you kind of when we traded for him, that's what we were looking for.
Yeah.
But what we're seeing now, and he's not one. We used to say back in previous podcasts, if he just gets 8 points, that's good.
Yeah.
But now he's scoring 15, 16, 17 points now. He's more of an offensive threat than ever.
Yeah.
I mean the lob, they're getting used to. They're getting better chemistry on the lob plays.
All of the players are. It was pretty much Kyle Anderson was the only one last year until we traded for Mike Conley.
Yeah.
And then Mike Conley and Rudy having chemistry from Utah.
Yep.
But now everybody, Ant's throwing lobs.
Yeah.
Cat's throwing lobs. We just saw Cat throwing lob from the 3-point line.
They were shooting a 3, and it was to Gobert. And also Gobert's footwork. Sometimes he tends to bring the ball down. And when he gets a rebound, sometimes he brings it down, and then he is now allowing the defense to congest on that.
Yeah.
And he how many bunnies does he miss? By doing that. It's like now he's throwing down the dunks a little more emphatic.
Yeah.
Like he stared down Chet. He didn't get it. I'm glad he didn't get a technical because now they're starting to do that all the time.
Which is
BS. I mean, I understand you want to make sure that high school kids don't emulate that
to an extent, but it's also
he's not standing over him.
He's not stepping on him.
No.
The whole reason the NBA is it's basketball, it's professional basketball, but it's a form of entertainment.
Yeah.
And there is something to Ant jumping from the free throw line, throwing it down. Again, not stepping on somebody.
But giving muscles and kind of just looking at a guy.
Yeah, it's not like you're bumping into him. You just look at him quick.
Yeah. And
when
you're that
technicals,
when you're that good, when you do something that athletic, I mean, there's got to be some sort of after effect of it.
Yeah. Well, people come to see that.
Yeah.
I'm going to a Wolves game because I want to watch Anthony Edwards, who now is top 10 in the NBA.
He's got his new shoe coming out.
Yeah, did you see that Durant?
Yeah.
Did you see what
No.
He said something about getting Kevin Durant in a pair of those shoes. And Kevin Durant said he never would put even one of his big MF or toes in one.
That's what that comment was. I just saw the headline.
And then Adidas replied back. And granted, Durant signed a lifetime deal with Nike last year.
Okay.
So it's obviously not going to be give me a pair of the Adidas. But I guess Adidas had commented back and be like, you're dusty and old anyways. You're going to retire soon. It doesn't matter. But like, Ant is one of the...
But Ant says stuff, and his personality and what he says, you can't help but love that guy. Because he kind of has got a little bit of a mischief side to him with some of the things he says. You know, and he's not outwardly calling people out, but yet he'll say little sly comments where he's just cool. Like, you just can't... He's just cool.
He's very Michael Jordan-esque. And I know a couple of the NBA scouts had said, like reviewing it out, reviewing tape, looking at movements and everything, that they said Anthony Edwards is the second coming of Michael Jordan.
Huh.
They've said that. 3 different people have said that.
Wow.
And
so he's playing out of his mind. He's injured right now, but it doesn't look like it's going to be a long-term thing. But he's playing out of his mind, and that's a draft they hit on with Edwards and Jaden. And Jaden is still out. We're winning all these games without Jaden or Ant. You know, I mean, we're still... It just goes to show that Gobert is... I think the biggest thing, though, Ant is going to grow and grow, and you kind of can just guess that. But people are all up in arms like they are in Minnesota. Oh, we're paying him too much money. Or, oh, we got, the trade, we gave all those picks up. And look at Gobert. All he does is get, 12 rebounds and 6 points. And, what is that?
Right.
Now people are like... Wow. Because I think unfairly he was judged early because of the system that we were in, and Cat wasn't playing all the time. And I think Gobert also is just now finding his rhythm. He's finding his rhythm on offense, and he's affecting plays on defense. And having him out there, even when he gets fouled now, he's making some free throws. I'm so glad the NBA made that rule where 102 minutes, or is it 3 minutes?
3,
where you can't just hack a shack anymore.
Because
they could do that for Gobert, and
they tried to. Tom Thibodeau did it with the Knicks the other night, and then didn't the Thunder coach just did it because Chet fouled him a couple times, but then he went 4 for 4, hit all 4 free throws. They didn't do it again.
Yeah, and to me it's I'm glad because there's so much that happens in NBA games with 3 minutes and less.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, if the game's close enough...
That's an eternity of time. Yeah. Coming from, we played basketball.
Yeah.
3 minutes is so much time.
And you can't... Yeah, people should be good at free throws. That's part of the game. But it shouldn't be away from the ball, I'm just going to hug you.
Right.
And it's a foul. What does that do for the game? And then it almost made... The nice thing about the Wolves is that I think Finch can say, okay, if they're going to start hacking Gobert, put Nas in there. And Nas is a great shooter. He's still almost the same height. I mean, he's a little shorter, but he's still a big man.
Yeah.
But dribbles like a guard. Cat is a great free throw shooter, unless Cat's already fouled out.
Yeah, right.
I wonder what the stat is for Cat at the end of games. 4 fouls or more. Does he almost always have 4 fouls or more?
I don't know that I've ever seen him have less than 4 fouls. Mm-hmm. But this has been as
you can tell we're excited because this is
very unprecedented.
Yes,
lifelong basketball people.
Yep,
basketball fans. Again, played basketball. We love watching the Wolves. So to have them be essentially the number 1 team in the NBA is mind blowing. And
it's not just a fluke because they're continuing to do it. I know it's early in the season, but we were just saying before we even started the podcast, we were just saying. How often is it when you watch the Wolves where you feel like, oh yeah, they'll win that? You don't feel like, oh, they're you're expecting them to be up, or if they're a little bit down, you don't think it's over.
No.
Years past, you're like, oh, third quarter would be terrible. We'd be almost tied or a little bit ahead at halftime. Terrible
down
third
by
quarter.
40 at the end of the third.
And then the game was over. Mm-hmm. Now it's like, oh, we're down by 10. Oh, we'll come back.
Even last year in the playoffs against Memphis. If we played like this last year, we would have walked through.
Yeah. I wonder what that would have been like last year with us in Denver.
Oh, yeah. So, what, 2 years ago with Memphis?
No, we played... Who was it last year? It was Denver.
It was Denver because Denver said the Wolves were their hardest run.
Yes.
But, so it was 2 years ago with then.
Memphis. When Memphis, they'd gone 2 years ago.
Oh, they are
And now they're just going Desmond Bane, he probably should play football.
That dude is...
His muscles, I don't know what he's trying to do with his body, but is he out there to be a bodybuilder?
Did you see him run into Mike Conley?
Yeah.
And then he jumped backwards into Mike, and then...
That's a great call. By the way, they're starting to call it now where guys get in front and they back up into guys.
Mm-hmm. That's Rajon Rondo right there.
They're starting to figure out those ways that people have been trying to kind of cheat the system with foul calls, drawing fouls. And they called LeBron for a technical on his flop. Let's get that out of the game.
Right. Yeah.
Because college, they're working hard. In the Big Ten, especially, if you're not tough, you're not gonna play.
No.
Then you go to the NBA and it's like, oh, he touched my pinky finger.
But there was one call on Shea Gilgeous-Alexander,
who's having an MVP season.
That dude's unbelievable.
Yeah,
but he had one of the foul calls on Ant.
Yeah.
When he roamed and goes like this.
As he's dribbling the ball, it looks like he's a horse.
Yeah, it's just,
you know.
I hate that.
And he's not even getting touched.
No. So I mean, when it's your player, you know, if that's Ant on that side, then you're like, call foul. But I don't know. It's irritating. But Timberwolves are incredible right now, which has been fun. We're in jump. We got a lot to catch up on for Vikings.
Oh yeah.
So should we go Vikings route, or do we go kind of the elephant in the room on the golf side of things this is still new, there's not a lot of details about it, but...
Well, I didn't even know about it. You told me today.
So let's knock this out.
Okay.
Is supposedly John Rahm is on his way to Live Golf for $600 million. I don't know the full validity to it. There's people that said it'll be done as soon as Monday. Everything's done except the signature. He's always been kind of a poster child for PGA. $600 million is obviously a lot of money, and we know, we've done this over and over and over. Kind of the opinions on Live and where the money's coming from.
Why don't, when the players do this, I'd like it to be more transparent with the fans and like just the media and stuff. Why couldn't it be? John Rahm just says, here's what our decision came down to, and here's what we decided to do. Yeah. And everybody just knew it, and it was transparent. Instead of everybody trying to guess why people do things. Because, other people who do that, they want to be private about it. Well, it's my choice, But it'd be nice, because everybody makes choices. Everybody has, anything. They write down the pros and cons and stuff like that. It'd be nice to know, like, what went through their heads.
Right.
And maybe if we knew that information, we might not agree with the decision, but we would have more respect for it, maybe.
Yeah, and more of an understanding of why. I mean, I'm going to assume it's all based upon the $600 million.
But how much money is too much money and enough money to get through generations of people? I mean, what he's making in the PGA, can't that last him, plus his family, plus his kids, and his kids, and his kids? Isn't there just generational money just doing that?
Right.
Is it really about that? Like, I'd like to know what it really... That's a lot of money, but you also think, well, do people just not know what enough money is?
Right.
And if it's that much money, like, something kind of fishy about that?
Right.
Who else is getting paid $600 million?
That's a lot of money.
I don't know.
Because you're still getting bonus money, you're still getting tournament money. Like, that's just $600 million to come here. Mm-hmm. Come suit up.
Yeah.
I don't know. So we'll see as that unfolds over the next, I would assume, couple weeks.
I'm going to tell you one real quick thing. This just happened to where I'm from. With golf. So Eric Van Rooyen, who's a South African golfer, has 6 tour wins. Kind of building himself up. He's still young, 33 years old, but he played for the University of Minnesota. And in 2014, he was teammates with John Trasmer, and they won the Big Ten championship. That's the last time the Gophers won the Big Ten championship for golf. Mm-hmm. And they were roommates. And John Trasmer, he's from my hometown, and his mom still lives there and still works in the school system.
Well, not your hometown.
Yeah, sorry, not my hometown.
His hometown is where you live.
Yes, yeah.
For the...
Yeah.
Just to clarify.
Yeah, exactly. And so he recently passed away, and you might have seen the story where when Van Rooyen won the latest tournament, he shot amazing the last 9, and knew about his best friend, which is John Trasmer's probably death sentence here, where his stage 4 melanoma, and there wasn't a hospice.
Yeah.
Pretty much the end of the end.
Yeah.
And he talked about how much that motivated him and how much golf is secondary to real life and how sports can be there, but how sports aren't everything. And that, for me, that, on a side note, maybe kind of when the Vikings lose or when things happen, and with my son too, he was really into it, puts things into perspective. Like, we don't live and die by the fact the team wins or not. Even though we get that involved, there's bigger things in life that you can be concerned with. But anyways, it's a great story. I encourage you to go to look up John Trasmer.
We'll link to one of the stories. We'll link in the description box down below.
It's just cool to have that be where people put in perspective that golf matters, but it can motivate you, but it's something that people do for fun and to relieve stress, just like a public course golfer does.
Yep.
But it's not your life and your whole world.
Yeah.
There's more important things out there. Yeah.
So I think that we'll go bottles up, cans up, Mr. John Trasmer.
Yep.
Rest easy.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah.
Yep. Go Gophers. Sky Yuma.
And Gophers.
Oh, I don't want to get to that state.
I mean, so do we go Gophers? So, I mean, again, we got a lot to catch up on, guys.
And you know what's going to happen if you watch this? We're going to have to retread some of this stuff because we were just sitting there like, we have to just talk about sports for a little bit of time and just bring up points. And then kind of just, dissect it from there.
And it's stuff you all have seen and heard, but we haven't got to talk about. And maybe some of you haven't. But they're all pretty big topics, I guess I would say. But Gophers football.
Oh, don't even say it.
You got Ethan Kaliak-Manis is transferring out.
His dad doesn't want to talk about it.
Obviously, something maybe happened. Maybe PJ finally told Ethan that he sucks.
Well, I think Ethan he's a good quarterback, but I don't think he's a Power 5 quarterback.
No,
he's like a Troy or a Appalachian State or a.
And he'd probably do good.
And nothing against those teams. And sometimes those quarterbacks, they thrive there and they get drafted still.
Yeah, it's all about. I think this is the perfect example and kind of segue. This is how it'll blend together.
Yeah,
is the initial Josh Dobbs trade for the Vikings.
Mm-hmm.
He was 7 teams in 7 years.
1-7 with the Cardinals to start the year.
So he comes here with Cousins down. We trade for Josh Dobbs. He comes in. He does incredible the first 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And they talked about at halftime of, I want to say, the Atlanta game. And it was like, it all comes down to the best fit at the right time with the right personnel and the right everything. All has to come together.
Yeah.
It worked.
It makes
really
you admire
well.
those championship teams even more because there's more to it than just putting good players together. It's got to be the right good players with the right coaching.
At the right time.
Yeah.
Everything has to line up.
Yeah.
Like, you can look at the Lakers super team of Karl Malone's last year. I think we talked about this in a podcast way back.
Yeah.
Is Karl Malone's last year and Gary Payton's last year. They all had teamed up on the Lakers, and they were horrible.
Yeah.
Horrible.
Great talent, but...
It all comes down to your coaching staff, the personnel. Everything has to come together.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think it was the right fit with Kaliak-Manis for the Gophers. I know PJ really wanted him to be his guy. He wanted to kind of groom him. He was going to be his first. That was his first prize recruit.
Yeah.
That wasn't already within.
Well, it felt like Tanner Morgan was here his whole life. I mean, he's like 45.
Well,
right?
he played 14 seasons for the Gophers. He
like,
played an NFL career.
He took a page out of Van Wilder. Just kind of took the long way through his
Tanner Morgan.
Tanner Morgan, if you want to sponsor the podcast or be on it, we'll have you. But,
we'll have you sit right here, buddy.
And
play around at golf with us.
You just look like you could be older.
I like Tanner Morgan. Me, who's not ever one of those flashy, over the top guys. I liked him.
But he could throw a slant pass, and they won 9 games with him. Like back to what
you
you
won
said,
11 with him the 1 year.
Back to what you said before. It's got to be the right group of people at the right time. And Ethan,
it's not the right fit.
Not the right fit right now. And I think that segueing to what Josh Dobbs, he's coming in where we never had a mobile quarterback before.
No, not since
Dante.
Dante was a little bit.
Yeah.
But you truthfully you could probably bring it back. A true Fran Tarkenton.
Yeah.
My dad and I have had this conversation too. He has not seen. We've talked about. We were watching one of the first Vikings games with Josh Dobbs, and he said the same thing. It's like, I don't think it truly has been since Fran Tarkenton that we've had a categorized mobile quarterback, because Dante could move.
Mm-hmm.
Randall Cunningham could move.
Oh yeah, so could Teddy Bridgewater.
Teddy could move.
He didn't move when he did move. He'd get killed.
Yeah, and it was the same thing. Like, I mean, if Cousins need to, he can move.
Yeah,
they're just not mobile quarterbacks.
That's not the instinct right away. And I think with Dobbs, his first couple of games, people didn't have. He's never had. You said the system. Dobbs, they were saying, has never had the offensive line he has now, the receivers that he has. I know minus Justin Jefferson, but
which will be back next week.
And our coaching with Kevin O'Connell has really done a nice job with. That's a blocking foul. Did they call it block?
Better be. No, Finch looks pissed.
Oh.
Nope. Oh, they call it charge on Rudy.
Okay. Sorry,
we're going to Euro
scattered
step
here, but I think that was a Euro step and a block. But anyways, now Dobbs is struggling, and Justin Jefferson's going to come back here. But do we? We were talking about this before. Do they stick with Dobbs? Because Dobbs has trouble anticipating receivers in their routes, and that could be either because he's new to the team or he just doesn't have that knack. That's what Cousins can really do well.
That dude, Cousins could throw a teardrop to somebody,
or a bullet where it needs to go. And in those goal line passes where they find a space,
and you find the spot, hunker down,
and you got a bullet.
Done.
Dobbs can't do that. And maybe that's not. But so then, okay, do we roll him out more? Well, maybe we can. Maybe over this bye week they figure out some plays for him that he can be successful at.
You made a great point though in the car that I think you need to bring up in the edge rushers coming around now.
Yes, the edge rushers now when they go against the Vikes are going upfield more and not coming in as fast because they know when Josh goes 1 or 2 reads, he doesn't do that. People get mad at Cousins because he stay there so long.
He'll look for 6 different reads.
But he's coming back to the same read he didn't see before, and he's analyzing it all, probably to a fault sometimes.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
With Dobbs is like 2 reads and I'm done, and what he does is reverse pivot and spin move to the back.
Yeah.
But now when those defensive ends are coming up the field, he's reverse pivoting into them. So he's getting sacked now.
Yeah.
And even though he's so athletic, he can't get around. If they have him out here, he can't go this way up behind him. Tries to go in. They still have the inside rushers coming up the middle. They kind of figured him out. So either we roll him out on purpose, or we get him to be a little bit better at going through the reads. And I think with the week off, maybe that's what happens. Do they go back to Jaron Hall? Do they put in Nick Mullins? I feel like with Justin Jefferson come back, you can't say no to Dobbs yet until he's got his full gamut of weapons. And if he still can't do it then you say, and we're playing against the Raiders, who's another bad team, where we can afford to have a little bit of growing pains and still be in the game.
Hawkinson will be healthy again. Osborne got rocked. He'll be healthy again. Addison knows he's playing like shit right now.
Yeah. Yep.
He's said it.
Yep.
JJ will be back. Mm-hmm. You have that full. Hopefully, Ty Chandler gets a bit of a hold. They keep him at RB1.
He's got to improve on pass blocking though. That's the blitz pickup. Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's why. And I think
that's why Addison stays at 1.
Madison.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Why Alexander Madison does. He's a big back.
Yes.
And he is good at that.
Yeah.
So that was one thing I really did like with Delvin. Mm-hmm. He wasn't terribly big,
but he could blitz pickup.
He was good at picking up a blitz block.
You know who else wasn't good at blitz pickup? Adrian Peterson. He wasn't good at blitz pickup at all. And he wasn't good at catching the pass out of the backfield. That was a different time, and where running backs were more the focus.
The game was different at that point.
Yeah.
AP was at the last game, and so now after that game, and you can't really peg it, onto running back. That Chicago game was just a fucking mess on every accord outside of our defense.
Yeah.
Like our defense
doesn't give up any touchdowns and we still lose the game.
Here's what's crazy to me is you have Brian Flores is having probably a career year, I would say, as a coach.
Oh yeah, he probably won't be our defensive coordinator next year.
He'll be a head coach somewhere, which he deserves to be. I don't want him to go anywhere.
No,
but he deserves to be a head coach.
Yep.
It'd be cool. It'd be cool if you could get some of these coordinators to get paid the recognition so you stay and create just this crazy system for a team. And, then all of a sudden Flores is our defensive coordinator for 10 years.
And if he likes being a defensive coordinator, why can't you just have people, why is it that they have to be a head coach? Maybe that's their goal. Maybe that's their career goal. But it's like, if you love doing defense, just be defense and just be on a good
Fuck.
I know. Just be defense and enjoy yourself being a defensive coach. If that's where your niche is. Like I always think like Fred Hoiberg. He's doing okay at Nebraska, but he was at Iowa State, where he's from, where he played. He was the mayor. Like he had it made there. He's never gonna get fired. So it's like I know people have career aspirations.
Well, yeah, you went to Chicago.
Yeah, and he had trouble there.
It's horrible.
I honestly, that's a whole other topic about why you should stay as a college coach and not go to the pros, because the pros is ruthless, and college you have a better chance of staying, I think.
Yeah, and I think you make a really good point in that it'd be cool if, and again, maybe all their aspirations are to be a number one. I want to be the head coach. I want to be the guy. But it'd be cool if, like, being a defensive coordinator for the same team for 15 years was as cool.
Exactly. And you just build that rapport, and you're an unstoppable force, and you keep winning championships. You're not the head coach, but you're still making a heck of a lot of money.
And you're doing. I mean,
you're doing your job.
You're not the head coach, but like you command the defense more than the head coach does.
Mm-hmm. So you really are the. I mean,
you're kind of the head coach of the defense.
Yeah, and that's the way NFL really is now. Yeah, you have the head coach of the offense, and he's either if the head coach is a defensive guy, he's in charge of the defense, like Zimmer. Yeah, he's the head coach, but he was the head coach of this defense. He let all the offensive stuff happen with all the different coordinators we went through.
Oh my gosh, right?
The carousel.
You almost need to take away the title of head coach, because I think you could just say KOC is our offensive coordinator.
Yeah.
Brian Flores is our defensive coordinator.
And they work together.
What do you need the head coach for? For what? Because now Wes Phillips is sitting in the booth. He doesn't do anything.
No.
So
he gets paid more than any of us do. So.
Oh, right.
I mean, he probably does something, but
I'm sure he does.
Yeah, but it's not. It is true. Like, coaches have their specialty, and now head coaches really don't just oversee things. They are involved in one aspect of the play calling or the whatever play calling, defense, play calling office, where they're the main staple of that.
Yeah.
And so it is kind of like, well, just be a team and just say co-head coaches.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or that's when you take away that title of head coach, and keep it. You're the offensive coordinator. You're the offensive coach. You're the defensive coach.
Well, and maybe this plays into all this, getting more money to be the head coach, and that looks better in your career aspiration, and that plays back into what we were talking about with quarterbacks and Dobbs getting his opportunity and which quarterback to go through. They can't just enter the transfer portal.
Right.
But right now, I'm not kidding you, the way that this is going, and I think the NIL, this is a whole other topic, but just to say it because it has to do with quarterbacks and money and coaching. If a player wants to have a different coach, a player wants to have a quote-unquote better chance at something, they enter the transfer portal. And now with the NIL money, if you're not a big school, to give that money, like, I know it's kind of, who said it? It was the guy from... it was Matt. No, it wasn't Matt Rule. It was no, it wasn't Matt. Where's the quarterback or one of the head coaches recently said
he's at Nebraska. Matt Rule.
Matt Rule. Yeah, that's what he said. Matt Rule. And to get a good quarterback now, it costs you $1 million.
Absolutely.
So now you're having to.
And it takes away from college football.
And now the players are controlling it all. And now the coaches can't ever build okay. I think this guy likes it here, but I better make sure he's happy, because if he's not happy, he's gone next year. And now when I have these other receivers that have been recruited that want to play with him, now he's gone. Now these receivers are probably going somewhere. Yeah. And now my whole team is entering.
Now you're losing your whole. Is it Zach Evans? Is that no, not Zach Evans?
Yeah,
the running back for the Gophers.
Yeah.
He was a standout freshman. Mm-hmm. He just said, "I'm going to stay. I'm bringing it back. We're going to run it again." And it was like the biggest deal that a recruit was going to stay for an additional year and not leave for more money on the college level. It ruins college sports.
And they're already getting a free education. And I'm sorry, I'm a music major. I went to a good college. It was very expensive. And I have talents that I can use. But I had a ton of money to pay the school. I mean, I had help with that, but it just seems like, okay, if you're good at... I know the athletes bring a lot of money into the school.
Yeah.
But you're already paying for their education. And what's the moral value of it? Do you want to try to get players to think that it's me even more?
Yeah.
So we're already dealing with the me first mentality of students,
and society in general.
I get my phone tells me exactly what I get. Nasri just hit a 3. He's awesome.
Nice little run there.
My phone already can tell me exactly what I need to know when I need to. I don't have to communicate with you in person.
Within a second.
Yep. I don't have to talk to you in person. I can text you.
Yeah.
Why are we even hanging out right now? We could just text. We could do a podcast.
We want to get crazy? Let's FaceTime.
Yeah.
Let's do a Zoom call.
Zoom
podcast.
If we're really trying to say, okay, we want for the longevity of the human existence, we want people to rely upon what makes them human, which is empathy and being able to listen to each other, which is different than what machines can do. If we want to have that be what we do, but now we're saying, oh, the moment you want to, you don't like where you're at, transfer portal.
Yeah.
Transfer portal. Oh, you need more money? Oh, we'll give you more money. Oh, you're getting a free education, but since we need to give you more money, because if we don't just give you the free education, which is a huge thing, we have to pay you extra. Business has got to pay you extra, and if you don't get paid enough here, I'm going to go to this other college, even though it's not maybe even the best choice for me, but I get paid more.
There's
no resilience. You have no resilience. You're not having to work hard for anything.
No, because it's all you can dictate. All Caleb Williams, consensus number 1 overall pick, quarterback for USC, literally had said, if the situation is not right in the draft, I will go back to USC because I will make more money at USC than I will as a rookie quarterback in the NFL. That blows my mind, and it defeats the isn't that what the whole thing of making the NFL was for?
And aren't we concerned about how these players are young and they don't really know? They're still developing. Their brains are still developing. They don't know how to manage that amount of money and what that does to your mind. I mean,
especially guys.
Yes, and all of a sudden you think you're so powerful, and you use your power over other people in ways that are really inappropriate because I'm getting paid $2 million a year. I'm a big shot. You're a CEO of a bank somewhere. You only get paid $300,000 a year. I get paid $1 million.
so
yeah. Police officers, stopping people. I just feel like you get this complex of already athletes have problems with that, of being dicks. They
that's always been kind of the stigma.
Yeah, they don't have
on every level.
They don't have the empathy. They don't have the. They already think they're the most powerful, best looking. They deserve everything in the world. Yeah. Now you're paying them like they deserve everything in the world, and they don't even have the brain development to know how to deal with
comprehend
it.
that.
Yep.
It's.
You're telling an 18-year-old kid, you're giving him $1 million to play his sport, and he probably doesn't even do his own laundry.
No.
So I don't know.
We could go on and on and on and on, but we are going to keep that as we continue the podcast back on. Hopefully,
I don't know what you guys think though. Does Josh Dobbs? Maybe next time we talk, is he the starter for the Vikings? Oh, Kyle Anderson's down. He's okay. Is Josh Dobbs the starter? Does he? And if he is, does he have success with Justin Jefferson? Who's number 2? What's the depth chart going to look like?
I think this is my prediction. Is this week? So we're at bye week for Minnesota this week. Then we're at Las Vegas next week. You got 1, Josh Dobbs. Then you got. I think you're still going to probably run Nick Mullins at 2.
That's what I think too.
And Jaron Hall is going to be the 3rd string right now. That's my prediction for the week against Las Vegas.
And some people are like, well, let's see what we have in Jaron Hall. Play him right now. I also think the coaches get paid lots of money, and they're the ones that spend all the time with the players. Joe Schmo, who is the radio coach, calling in saying, I think Jaron Hall should be the quarterback. You don't
long-time listener, first-time caller.
First caller. I think Travarius Jackson should be.
Travarius.
He used to play to get people all.
Which, speaking of radio, this is completely sidebar. I'm going to do a quick timeout.
Yeah.
Shout out to Mr. Corey Provis.
Yes.
For being named the number 1 the
TV caster.
Yeah, the TV caster for the Twins.
Yep. Taking Dick Bremer's spot.
Which will be weird to not hear Dick Bremer's voice.
Yep.
But Corey Provis, congratulations on that.
Much deserved.
And back to the conversation.
These coaches, whether you agree with them or you don't, there's still a lot of people that are involved in the decision. They're all evaluating everybody. They're not. They believe me. They want to win.
Right.
Their jobs depend on it. If they decide to go with Josh Dobbs, we got to trust that they know a little bit about what they're talking about.
Right.
You might want Jaron Hall because you think he's a rookie. We don't know what we have in him yet. But right now we're still in the thick of it.
Now is not the time and place to figure that out.
Just say, let's see what happens. No, we're the 6th seed right now.
You summed it up perfectly as we were getting to Harbor Freight. You
Yeah.
said that was going with either Nick Mullins or Jaron Hall, who are great in their own respects. Going with one of them is more of giving up right now than just seeing Josh Dobbs. Josh Dobbs right now for the Minnesota Vikings is this season has the most experience over the course of this season for this team.
Yeah.
He has taken the most reps of our quarterback room right now.
And we might be, if we're wrong, next time we have a podcast and we see that Jaron Hall's the starter or whatever happens, it could be, and we'll understand, just like how I just said, trust the coaches. We'll trust the coaches on that because they spend time with them. But in our opinion right now, you can't say, okay, bad game by Josh Dobbs. He doesn't have all of his players yet. with him.
And even the players he has aren't fully healthy.
Exactly, and we can coach him up a little bit about how to do his reads and not just do the reverse pivot and get killed.
Yeah.
And maybe you change your blocking scheme up a little bit because you know that's what happens.
Right.
You're seeing teams now get the book on Josh Dobbs. Now we respond differently.
Yeah.
So let the chips fall where they are. But I think we just can't write off a quarterback because he had one bad game.
No.
Without having the number one receiver in the NFL.
Right. And these are our opinions.
Yeah.
It's no disrespect to Jaren Hall and or Nick Mullins. Jaren Hall looked great on the
First drive.
his first drive that he had. He did. He looked poised.
Maybe he plays that way the entire game. We don't even have a Josh Dobbs.
Who knows?
Yep.
But
Yep.
that's not what happened.
Yeah.
That's not what the situation is right now. I'm sure Jaren Hall, just like Josh Dobbs, is going to be the guy in the right scenario with the right coaches at the right time. Right now, I think the time is you stick with Josh Dobbs.
Yep. At least one more game, and then you can say, okay, we had 2 weeks to discuss this with practice.
Get some continuity with the players, learn their names.
And then at that point, if he gets it, doesn't get it, then you say, okay.
It didn't work.
And if we win the game, the way we know it doesn't work is if we lose the game.
Yeah.
We lose.
I think even if you win, you carry them to the next week.
And if we're 6-7, now you start to say we're not giving up, but now we're saying we're not giving up, but we need to
figure this out.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So thank you guys so much for tuning back into the Public Course Golf Podcast.
With little cart conversations here with your buddy Peej and Mikey Polis.
So thank you. Appreciate you guys understanding the hiatus we went on. We're back. Hopefully it's again more of a regular thing here. We're going to be getting on the ice very soon. We're going to get PJ behind the handlebars of a snowmobile really soon.
Yep.
So we're going to have a lot of interesting, really fun stuff here on the Public Course Golf Podcast. Thank you for tuning in. With that, let's catch you next week, guys. Bye. Bye.